Mid-March in Northwestern Ontario, and I'm already thinking about musky fishing. If you are too, stick around. Here's my pick for 6 lures that you guys all need if you're coming to Northwestern Ontario in 2021. Hey, so you guys planned a trip to Canada in 2021? I got 6 lures that I think you guys should have. These are lures that I've had good success with in the past and lures that I recommend pretty much to all my clients. And really in no particular order, I'm going to run through them quick and tell you why I like them and maybe why I think they're good for you guys. All right, first one, the classic, the Suic. These are probably 2 of my best colors right here. Silver jailbird and just orange with black dots. Both of these have been used hard. They're a couple of my favorite baits. We started using Suics about 4 or 5 years ago on a real regular basis, and the first couple summers that we had them, we literally just hammered the fish on them. It's a often underused bait up here because it is more of a classic style bait, but it's something that we use a lot. You can see this one completely thrashed. It's a discontinued color, and it's one that I had Suic make a dozen of in a custom run just for me. So this is definitely one of those baits that I think everybody should have on their list. Bait number 2 that I often think gets overlooked a lot is the classic spinner bait. A lot of guys think this is bait only for weeds. We use them pretty much in any situation. This here is probably one of my favorite spinner baits. This is Flashbowski by lubowskilures. Probably the toughest, most durable spinner bait that you can buy. Certainly one of my favorites. The way that this is designed, he's pretty much eliminated any of the weak points inherently built into a spinner bait, which would be your loop at the top. He doesn't have the wire molded into a head. It's a free floating weight at the bottom. He makes them in a couple sizes. This is the bigger size, the Flashbowski. This is probably my favorite size. This is called the Vigilante. I can use this size all year long. Same construction as the bigger one, just downsized slightly. And this here was a prototype that I ran last year. It's a slightly smaller one, and I had great success on this one as well. You can use these in the rocks, the weeds, the timber. That's an area that we use them a lot, is around timber, because you can get right into the back of the bays and bounce over timber that you just can't with other style of lures. Staying in line with the spinner baits, this here is a spinner bait attachment on a swimming dog. This again is made by lubowskilures. This is called a hog collar. Got a weight on it to keep your rubber bait down low. We use this trolling. Fantastic combination. Something that I think everybody should add into their arsenal as well. Another spinner bait that I really like. This one's made by a local company called Drop Tine Tackle. What's unique about this one is it actually has 6 blades on it. And the 6 blades give it a little bit more lift in the water, so it does ride a little bit higher. It's got a different sound than a twin-bladed spinner bait. This is actually a prototype that he had built for me last year, and he's included some new designs in here that should eliminate any of the breaking that conventional spinner baits have. So again, this is another one of my favorites. All right, moving on. Another bait that I think everybody should have when they're coming up, especially for midsummer peak, is a short frame, single skirt, single hook bucktail. This happens to be a 10 millimeter by Dadson blade baits, 2 10 millimeter, 2 10 size blades, single skirt, single hook, thumps like crazy in the water. It's a short, compact frame, so when the fish are super active in midsummer, it eliminates having the second hook that could damage the fish, and the hookup percentage on this is super high. This is a double 10. Here it is in another Dadson double 9s. Something that I got late last year was the Trigger from Musky Mayhem. Again, I think this is very comparable. It's a short frame, single skirt, single hook with the offset blades. It's going to give you a big amount of thump in the water. This is definitely going to be something that I think is going to be a good bait up in Canada this year, because pretty well nobody had it last year. Okay, moving on. Anybody that knows me knows that this is no surprise when I say Lake X Toad. Somehow this remains an underused lure, and I just don't understand why. It is so good in deep water situations, over top of rocks, outside edges of weeds. It's so easy to use. It's been one of my best producing lures for 3-4 years now. It almost, to me, doesn't matter the color. It's all in the action. I think everybody needs to at least get one of these, tune it, try it, use it. I'm sure you'll be surprised. All right, the next one is probably one of my new favorite lures. It doesn't look like much. It's the Bondi Royal Orba. A little bit of a background on this one for us. I didn't even really know this lure existed other than walking by it in the sports shop and thinking, oh, there's just another rubber lure. My wife picked up this actual model here to use in a walleye tournament, thinking that she could jig it off of deep edges of rocks. Unfortunately, she didn't use it. It sat in our shop here. So my wife and I went out to go fishing for our anniversary, and I grabbed it thinking, well, I'm going to give it a shot. That very first night, I stuck an absolute tank of a fish on Cedar Lake on this smaller version. Again, anybody that knows me knows I like to throw smaller size lures. So there's this size, one size bigger, plus they have a size bigger than this, the Big Daddy, I believe it's called. I'll throw these two sizes. Rarely would I ever go any bigger, and in 90% of the cases, I'm throwing this size. It's so versatile. You can straight retrieve it. I can use this as a replacement for a bulldog or even a Medusa in a straight retrieve situation. I can use this as a replacement for a bucktail in probably 75% of instances. But I think everybody needs to try a Bondi Royal Orba. Super versatile lure, and by far one of my favorite new lures. All right, last but not least, another one of my favorite lures the past few years, Musky Munchies Triple Slurp. Super simple looking bait. People look at it and they don't think very much of it, but it just has a unique thump in the water, something different. Again, this is the smaller size. This is the size I use with guests and myself probably 90% of the time. I will go to a larger one from time to time, but almost always use the smaller size. Super versatile. It doesn't have the inherent lift of a conventional bucktail, so it does run a little bit deeper in the water column, so you do have to be a bit careful around structure, but the blade always spins. You come in, you can do a super slow figure eight if your fish are acting negatively. You can speed up. The blade's always going to react instantly to your speed. Something new that he has this year that I talked about in a previous video is the ticker version. All right, guys, just in closing here, these are 6 of the lures that I have some of my best success with, either personally or with my clients or guests. Are they all going to work for you? No, they might not. But does it give you an option when you're coming to Canada? I think it does. All right, just to wrap up here, hope you enjoyed the video and it gives you guys some ideas of some lures you can pick for your Canadian trip in 2021. And if you like this, please like and subscribe. And starting next week, I'll be doing a lake-specific video talking about our favorite and our best producing lures for each lake. We're going to start next week with Cedar Lake, Ontario. Thanks again, guys.